Hey Mom, can I ask you some questions about my disability?
My daughter has muscular dystrophy and she's in a wheelchair and she needs help from me, and I usually help her with certain things. Getting dressed, bathing, using the bathroom, getting to bed, and at nighttime, if you need something, you're not comfortable, I move you in your bed. As a baby, you had a harder time standing up. You were always falling. You had always had like a bruise on your head or a scratch on your face or something like that. And I started to notice that you would trip on things. But like once I noticed that you literally tripped on a sock, a flat sock on the floor. The doctor called me and she said, you know, between the neurologist and the blood work, we can tell that Sylvia has an as yet undiagnosed neurological condition, most likely a muscular dystrophy or something similar. I remember looking around, like just thinking everything is going to be different from this moment to the rest of my life. Your abilities changed very gradually. It was very, very, very gradual. There was a shift when you got to second grade where you could only walk about 15 or 20 feet. So then we got you a go-go. In fourth grade, you got your wheelchair, and that was really great. You really loved it. It gave you much more autonomy, and you have been in a wheelchair ever since without being able to walk at all. You were very clear about your disability, and you were very articulate about it, and you had a lot of knowledge about it. You would explain to people what was going on with you from very young.
What do you think is the hardest thing about having this dual role of my mom and my caregiver?
Honestly, the hardest thing is worrying about you. Worrying about people doing things and not including you because they don't know how to fit your wheelchair into it, and worrying about your psychological reaction to that. Like, I felt like sometimes people were inconsiderate about leaving you out, and how devastating that is. And you know, I felt very protective over you and angry because I feel like, you know, that's been the hardest thing, to watch you be left out of things and to not be able to help you to, you know. I worry about getting older, and I worry about not being able to help you, and what will that look like. I have this fantasy that I'm going to be able to like suddenly start lifting weights and doing workouts, and then like I'm not going to get old. Not that I'm not going to get old, but like I'm not going to have a problem.
I always had a lot of anxiety, so really that was sparked from my disability and my need for help. At some point, I'm not really sure when, that like anxiety nerves kind of translated to just being really angry.
It was like the beginning of teenagerhood, but it had to do with your appearance.
Yeah.
And you would get really upset, start crying really, really hard, act like you were like palpitate, you know, not able to breathe, and you would refuse to leave the house. Remember, sometimes it was in the morning, and I'd be like, I gotta go to work.
Well, what I find really interesting is that, like, no, you don't know what it's like to be disabled. I'm not trying to act like you do, but you are the person that I feel like knows everything that I've been through. You have really been there for everything.
I feel like we have a very healthy relationship. I mean, I don't think that someone else can understand it, maybe. one thing I will say is that I really, really put a big effort into letting you have as many experiences as you could when you could. I'll never forget the time that I skied down the slope with you. And
wait, can you explain that story, please?
Yeah, so we were skiing. You were probably 2.5 or 3. By then we knew that you had a disability. Somehow we were on top of it was a small slope. It was a children's slope. I knew you were never going to be able to ski. So I grabbed you, and it was a small slope. And I held you, and I skied down the slope with you. God, your dad was so mad at me. But it was really nothing. It was not that big of a deal. I was a pretty good skier. I feel like somewhere inside you have that memory, and it's important.
Thanks, Mom. Can I go pee now?